Have you been asked to write a research proposal and don't know where to start? When I made a video on this topic 4 years ago, I received more than 450k views on this particular topic. So I decided to make this video all over again with the latest information. Hi everyone, I am Neha Agrawal. I'm the founder of WiseUp, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire process of writing a research proposal. We will first understand what a research proposal really is, how to choose a topic for a research proposal, what are the key sections to include, and how to write each section with clarity. I'm also going to share with you an AI tool, Paperpal, that will make this entire process a breeze. I've put timestamps below so you can jump to the section that you need the most. Now let's begin with the most basic but important question. What is a research proposal? Think of a research proposal like your pitch to the academic committee. You're basically saying, here's a problem I've noticed and I have a smart way of solving it. Of course, you don't just say it casually, you prepare a formal document outlining what is this research problem you want to explore, why it's worth exploring, and how you plan to approach it. You're not expected to have results right now because that is what the actual research is for. But you are expected to show that you've done your homework, you have identified a meaningful gap in current knowledge, and you have a clear roadmap of how you're going to investigate it. Now, when I was working on my research proposal, the most challenging part was finalizing a research topic. This is because most of the time you're expected to submit your research proposal quickly and not given enough time to do a thorough literature review to finalize a topic. Thanks to AI tools, this process has become so much easier. You can use the help of the academic writing AI tool Paperpal for this purpose. Simply log into your Paperpal account, go to the template feature, and then go to the brainstorm option. Here you type your question. Give me research topic ideas, for example, on super hydrophobic antibacterial fabrics. And within seconds, Paperpal will come up with a list of topic ideas for you. And because I belong to this research field, I can tell you for sure that some of these topic ideas are absolutely brilliant and would have taken you at least 2 to 3 months of thorough literature search to identify them yourself. Once you have a topic idea, all you need to do is a little bit of literature survey to give enough evidence for the research gap that you've identified, and that's it. Now, if you wish to know in detail how to choose a research topic using AI tools, then I've made a separate video on that which you can check out. Now let's talk about the structure of a research proposal and the key sections you're expected to include. So the structuring of a research proposal is quite similar to that of a research paper, except that you don't have a results section. This is because it's in the proposal stage and you haven't conducted the research yet. You also have some additional sections such as budget, timeline, etc., which you usually don't find in a research paper. So some of the key sections which go in a research proposal are the proposed title, an abstract, introduction, literature review section which also includes the research gap, a separate section on research objective and research questions, including the research hypothesis, methodology, ethical considerations if it's relevant to your study, tentative timeline, budget, significance of study, and references. Now, the total length of a research proposal is usually somewhere between 2,000 to 3,500 words. But sometimes the word limit is also shared with you. So do check the requirements and prepare accordingly. To know which sections to include in your research proposal, you can also use the help of the AI tool Paperpal. Simply go to the tool, click on Create an Outline, give the prompt that you want to create a research proposal on, for example, super hydrophobic antibacterial fabrics, choose the field you belong to, and there you go. Within seconds, Paperpal will give you a clear outline of all the sections that you're supposed to include in your proposal, including some of the key pointers that you should be writing under each section. So now, let's talk about the information that goes in each section of your research proposal. The first is the proposed title. So the title of your research proposal needs to be concise, informative, and immediately deliver what is the novelty of your work. For example, how plastic waste affects soil quality in farming areas, or improving reading skills in primary school students using digital learning tools, or using machine learning to predict online shopping trends. All these titles are catchy, focused, and immediately share what the research proposal is about. Next comes the abstract. And here you're expected to include a brief summary of your entire research proposal in 150 to 350 words. You're supposed to explain the background of your study, the research objective, the methods you'll use, and what outcomes do you expect. After that comes the introduction section where you establish the background of your study. Why is your research study important and relevant in today's research context? The introduction section then seamlessly flows into the literature review section where you summarize the key studies that has been done in this area. You critically analyze the work that has been done by other researchers by comparing their findings, methods, and limitations. After that comes the research gap, where you share what are some of the existing issues that other researchers have not been able to solve so far. Basically, the gap that your research is going to fill. Now, it's very important to be as thorough and as detailed in this section as possible because this forms the foundation of your research and shows the academic committee how well you understand the existing work in your field. Now, while working on your literature review, you can again take the help of the AI tool Paperpal. Let's take the example that my research topic is studying the effect of room temperature on battery life of mobile phones. And I have no idea how to measure the battery performance. So I simply go to the research and site section on Paperpal and type my query, how to measure the battery performance. And immediately Paperpal will give me the answer. In fact, it will also share with me where this information is coming from. So I can read these papers to gain better understanding, or I can also cite them while writing my research proposal. After laying down the background and the gap, it's now time to explain what your research is actually going to do. So here you share the research objective, basically what your research is trying to achieve. And then we also share the research questions, basically what are some of the key questions that our study is going to answer in order to achieve the overall objective. Now let's understand with the help of an example. So say if our research objective is to study how room temperature affects battery life of mobile phones, then my research questions could be, does battery life decrease more quickly at higher temperatures, or is there an optimal temperature range for best battery performance? Now in some research proposals, you will also find a research hypothesis. So let's understand what does that mean. Now, in order to answer your research questions, you will have some assumptions or idea in mind that if I test this is the result that I'm going to get. Of course, these are not just random guesses. These assumptions could come from existing literature, from your past experience, or from your own observations. So when you list down these assumptions formally, expecting them to either be proven or disproven through your research, it is called as hypothesis. So in simple terms, a hypothesis is a statement that predicts what will happen in your study. So let's again recall what all the three terms mean. A research objective means what you're trying to achieve. A research question means what you're trying to find out. And research hypothesis means what you're expecting the outcome will be. Okay, I hope that's clear now. Now next comes the research methodology section, and this is also one of the most important sections of your research proposal because this is where you explain how you plan to carry out your study and whether it is feasible and logical or not. For this section, you can begin by explaining the theoretical foundation or framework on which your study is based. After that, you can explain the different possible approaches to answer your research questions and justify why you've chosen a particular method. Then you will explain how you plan to collect your data, either through experimentation, simulations, case studies, or surveys. For example, if you're doing an experimentation, then explain what are the materials and tools you're going to use and what is the step-by-step process that you're going to follow. And for example, if it's a survey, then you explain who your participants are going to be, how are you going to choose them, and what kind of data are you planning to collect. After that, you need to explain how are you going to analyze your data, either using some statistical tools, coding framework, or any other tool or equipment that you need. Now, if your study includes animal, people, or sensitive data, then you might need to include a separate ethical consideration section as well. Basically, consent forms and approvals from an ethics expert. Finally comes the scope of your study, where you clearly explain what your research will cover and what it won't. This helps in setting the boundary of your research and prevents overgeneralization of your work. Now, these are some of the major sections of your research proposal. After that comes slightly smaller sections, starting with the timeline. Now, this is where you provide an entire time frame on how your research is going to be accomplished. For example, 1 to 3 months is my first phase, 4 to 6 months, this is what I'm going to achieve. Now, my piece of advice here would be to not underestimate the demands of your project and keep a relaxed time frame. Prepare a table or a bar chart explaining how you will accomplish each task, from literature review, conducting your research, to analyzing the results, and then finally writing your research paper or thesis. If required, you can also include a budget in your research proposal, estimating the total cost of your project. This helps academic committees and funding agencies better understand the feasibility of your work. List the estimated cost for materials and equipment, software licenses, travel for workshops, conferences, etc., or any other resources required in your study. Now coming to one of the last sections of your research proposal, which is the conclusion or significance of your study. And this is where you remind the academic committee how your research is going to contribute to the field, what problems it's going to address, and how it's going to open new avenues for future research. Finally, end your research proposal with the references section, including all the sources you've referred to in the appropriate citation style. So now that we know all the sections that go in a research proposal, let's talk about how can we use the AI tool Paperpal to make this entire process faster and more efficient. Once we've generated an outline with the help of Paperpal, write down all the information that you want in each of the sections. Now, with the help of the tool, we can make our language more academic and professional. With the help of the edit feature, we can improve the overall language and consistency. And then with the help of the rewrite feature, we can either paraphrase some of the important information, or we can also improve the fluency, simplify, make more academic, or even trim some of the sentences we have written. Another advantage of using Paperpal is that we can cite some of the papers simultaneously, saving us a ton of time. For this, simply select the text, click on Cite, and then you can cite the papers either from the library or even ask the tool to search for relevant papers online. This also helps in making sure that all your claims are well supported and you have provided enough evidence, increasing the credibility of your research proposal. Finally, you can also use the inbuilt checkers such as plagiarism check and AI review for further enhancing the overall quality and credibility of your work. To explore the tool, I've put the link and discount coupon in the description below for you. And you can also join our WhatsApp channel where we share the latest discount coupons with you. So guys, that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope this video has given you a good understanding of how to write your research proposal. Now, if you wish to learn in detail how to write each and every section of your research proposal, the information to include, and what are some of the best AI tools you can use for this purpose, then you can join me for my course on A to Z of research paper writing. The link and discount coupon is in the description below for you. And now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.